Ready?
Mhm.
You're now on one of the oldest farms in the United States, and it was a farm that was occupied by the Pueblo Indians, and they lived here and for many, many years until the Spanish came from Mexico. When they came, they burned the Pueblo, and that's where it got its name, Pueblo Quemado, which in Spanish is burned. And they were here for many years, and then later the gringos, as we Americans were called, came from the east and now make up about half of the population. And I was born up the river here in Santa Fe many, many years ago. And I went away to school and learned agriculture. And I always had a little garden even when I was just a child. The Boy Scouts, which I was a member of, had a test called the Merit Badge for gardening, and you had to grow a certain amount of vegetables. I did that when I was about 12 years old, so that was one of my first experiences as a gardener. I went away to school and studied agriculture and came back and worked for the Soil Conservation Service, which was a program to help farmers improve their farms, and later worked for the Forest Service, where I had to look after the watersheds and the cutting of timber. There was also some grazing connected with the management of the forest. I retired early. I guess I was only 51, but they wanted to transfer me to a place that was far from here, and I didn't like that, so I took early retirement, but I had 30 years of service. So when I retired, we had the garden and orchard here, but I wasn't completely occupied with it. So I took the course in ceramics, and then I needed a place to fire the ceramic pots, and I went to this community place that was doing that and helped them manage that, and so they wanted to find some work for the people who worked at that. It was a place for people who had some mental or physical problems, and so they came down here. At that time there was a driver, brought 3 of their clients, as they were called. My wife was alive at the time, so there was one of us working with each one of the clients, and we taught them how to plant seed, how to cultivate them, and then finally how to prepare them for market, hoping that they could get a job in one of those fields. But it worked out that it was just too much competition from the staff to tie up a vehicle with a driver for just 3 of them. So the head of the group said, well, she couldn't do that, but if we wanted to continue it, she'd try to find some volunteers in the community who might help. So from that, we've grown to, I don't know how many, I guess thousands of people that have worked on the farm. And they've come from faraway places, and some locally, of course. I had a fellow from Ethiopia here the other day. We had a lady from India, Germany, Scotland. I don't know how many other countries. I think we had a fellow from Australia. But anyway, they've come and helped, and yours is just one of many groups that come and help on the farm. And our goal is to, on the little farm that we have here, to try to grow as much good fresh fruit and vegetables as we can, and we donate it to some 15 charities in Santa Fe. And we also do a little research. We have a program with the Extension Service where people come out here and learn how to farm and learn new methods. We have different ways of teaching people how to, mostly it's a hands-on way of showing them the new ways of doing things, one of which is the use of, you may have seen it as you went through the property here, the use of drip tape used to be that you let a lot of water run down the hill, and some of it watered the plants and a lot of it was wasted. But with the drip, you make every drop nearly go where it's supposed to, and it's a very efficient way to do it. And so we're trying to make that apply both to our orchard and to our garden area. We've been pretty fortunate in having help, like I say, from a wide variety of sources, and we were chosen a good many years ago by the Points of Lights, which is a program that President Clinton had, where people were invited to Washington, and I got to go with my helper, and we got the picture on the wall as the Oval Office, and I got to meet the president. So that's one of the. We also have had our program sponsored by the Oprah show, and it's available. I think there's still some copies floating around that are made to show when we were on the Oprah show. So that's sort of a brief history of the farm from the days of the Indians through the Spanish, and now we gringos are coming along, and hopefully each year has made the area a little bit more productive and having fruit and vegetables for some 15 different charities in town. And that's pretty much the summary. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have any.